Welcome to Pause for Peace with me, Pastor Jule. And I'm glad that you have found this podcast for the week of January 26, 2025. This podcast is actually one that I'm recording this week of January 26, 2025. The last few have been pre-recorded. I've needed a little break here in the past few weeks to have some surgery and going through recovery. And hey, we all need it sometimes, taking care of ourselves. But it's such a good way to be back and be able to invite you to come and join me to pause during this week, to take a little space for some recentering, regrounding, and returning ourselves to being a people of peace. There have been many things going on in the last few weeks, and in Nashville, we've had this intense, frigid cold, and I'm not complaining whatsoever because I know my friends and family up in the state of Wisconsin, shout out to them, have been in frigid temperatures and dangerous temperatures in these past several weeks. And so it's a time when a lot of us kind of turn inward, hang out a lot at home. We sort of follow the animals and hibernate during these intense days of winter. Hopefully you've been somebody that's had the luxury of doing that with your work and your life. And hopefully you have been able to have a little rest in these last few weeks. And as we gather for this pause for peace today, I'm very aware of our own city here in Nashville has gone through another violent shooting at one of our high schools. One that's not so far from where I live, and very scary. Praying for the hatred that is in this world to be banished by the love that all of us can share and be about each and every day. So wherever you are, make sure you hug your kids, number one. Make sure you live each and every day to the best that you possibly can, focusing on being a beacon and a spreader of the light and love that is God. Let's turn inward now as we pause for peace this week and take a little assessment of what might be going on inside. So I'm going to invite you to get comfortable, get your feet flat on the ground, even though the earth might be frozen underneath you. The energy and the vibrancy of our world is still there in the potential that is held even in the frozen soil, the seeds that are doing what they need to do in winter so that they'll be able to sprout once again in spring and all the world will come back to life. If you're having your feet flat on the ground somewhere, knowing that that is what is underneath you, this earth that holds us always. And again, we're going to return to our breathing. We do that all the time when we pause for peace. Our breath is one of the quickest ways, not when we do the short little breaths from up top in our chest, but this deep breath down from our belly. So let's take a couple of deep breaths. And hold them before you slowly release. Another deep breath down from your belly. Hold before you release. This is when the air expands, like the balloon expanding, and our whole belly fills up. We're pressing out and being our biggest selves so that air then can contract once again as we release and let go of whatever is not serving us. One more deep breath. And release. Every time I return to this deep breathing, I am immediately recentered and reminded that all of my cells are getting the oxygen that they need whenever I take that deep breath, which is so important for healing, physical healing, and all the healing that we need, mental, emotional, spiritual healing as well. So as we are here in this place where we may feel a little bit more grounded into the earth, centered in ourselves, we can return to our breath anytime we are distracted. Because I invite us to hold our attention, our noticings inward today, entering through the space of our heart, the energy center of our heart in the middle of our chest. And beginning with becoming aware of what is taking place inside your heart. Some of us are grieving and carry heaviness in our heart. Some of us are fearful, and our heart might feel jittery or like it's fluttering, like it can't remain in one place. Some of us might be experiencing great joy, and our heart just feels light and like elation coming forth. Some of us might be weary, we might be tired, and it feels like everything is being dragged down with the energy of our heart as well. I invite you to place a hand on your chest, in the center of your chest, on the energy of your heart. Take another deep breath. Let's go a little deeper inward, settling into some time of stillness. So that we might be able to pay attention to what's happening within us. We might even be able to get ourselves centered and still and silent enough to hear the beating of our own chest, the beating of our own heart. It is said that one of the first sounds that any human being encounters is the beat, the heartbeat, the steady rhythm of their own mother's heart. Which might be why hearing a drum beat, a steady drum beat, one that is slow, steady drum beat, might be why it can ground and center us and make us once again feel safe and secure in this world. It returns us to that beautiful cocoon of the womb, where in our own formation, we were held in the waters of the womb, able to hear the beating of our own mother's heart. Notice what's taking place within. And based on what we are noticing within, I invite us to pose a question inwardly to the Great Spirit that lives in all of us. Listen as you pose the question inward to what is it I need today? What is it that I need today? Ask Great Spirit. What is it, Great Spirit, that I need today? Listen, notice, see what is revealed to you in the continued stillness. We're listening through our heart, connecting with that Great Spirit that is within us, and posing that question, what is it that I need today, Great Spirit? If you find your attention floating upwards into your head, getting into all these thoughts going on, the swirl of monkey mind, return to the heart space. Enter into that space of breathing once again. Refocus yourself in your heart and on your heart space. Then drop once again inward into the quiet, into this great mystery that each one of us is. Listening, so that we can know what it is we truly need for this day. Not what somebody else is telling us we need, not what the latest advertisements are wanting us to buy, but being clearly aware of what it is we truly need for this day. You might have a physical sensation, like your own stomach might begin like growling or rumbling within. It might be that you need some nourishment, some true good food that will nourish your body for whatever is coming this day. Perhaps you're finding yourself trembling unexpectedly. Maybe there's something that needs to be released, some kind of emotion that has been carried within you that you may not even be aware of, and it just needs to be let go. There might be, you're noticing an image of a particular person coming again and again and again in the quiet as you are inward, and you're realizing there's some kind of conversation or some kind of amends that you might need to make with this one person. Or maybe there's a way you need to reach out to them. Ask Great Spirit, is that what I need today? I'm going to invite you to take one more deep breath. Hold it at the top before you release it gently. We prepare ourselves to come forth from the time of stillness. If you need more stillness, you can pause this podcast and continue on in some quiet and pick us back up again whenever you're ready. But before we depart our stillness, we continue with our inward focus and with whatever we've received, whatever message that might have come, an image, a sound, a feeling, whatever it might have been. a sensation in our body, maybe some actual words that we have heard, a picture that's come forth before us, whatever it has been. I invite us each in our own way to express gratitude inwardly to the Great Spirit, to God, who has showed up for you in this time of quiet. And then when we're ready, another deep breath that we hold and release, preparing ourselves to bring our awareness, our attention back to connecting with one another, opening our eyes whenever we're ready to do so, looking forth at the world through the gift of this stillness and the quiet of this time, and being reminded that God lives in you. This amazing, amazing force of love for the world is in each one of us. We might have to get quieter or a little bit more stillness to get in touch with it now and again, but that amazing, amazing pool of love is in all of us. That is the God, the Great Spirit that lives in all. I hope that you have received a helpful message for you today. Maybe you saw or heard or felt something that doesn't make sense to you, so I invite you to take some time to journal with whatever that might have been that's come forth, with what it is that you need for today. Maybe you want to put some pictures together to make almost a collage that will remind you of what it is that you heard in this episode of Pause for Peace, so that you can come back to this noticing again and again and again, especially on days where the same experience is happening within, the same kind of heart space experience that you're having, because these might be ways to show you how to move through, or to celebrate in, or how to just hold whatever that is going within your heart gently and tenderly as you move through the days of your life. I'm grateful that you have joined me for Pausing for Peace today, and I remind us all to come back to the stillness again and again and again. Find ways to be centered each and every day. Find ways to let your life be one that banishes any bitterness, any anger that overtakes you, any hatred, that you would be one that makes the commitment, especially for this new year that's still stretching out ahead of us, that you would be one that makes the commitment to keep all of that out of your being. Not that you deny what arises within you, but that you release it, so that you don't allow things like bitter hatred to take hold in your heart and overtake you in a way that ends up feeling almost like you're being possessed by the anger, and you're out of control, unable to act in a way that's actually life-giving. And then that experience becomes like so destructive for you and for other people. Make a commitment to release whatever it is that comes, so that it doesn't have a chance to take root in your heart and in your inward being. Because I invite us all to commit again to being a people of peace wherever we go in this world each and every day. Have a blessed week, and I look forward to our next time together on Pause for Peace. Blessings. Bye.